Welcome to highlights from the fourth round of the CUPRA SimRacing Series from the Autodromo Nazionale di Monza. David Nagy would have his third consecutive pole position in the championship as he would head Ben Spanky on the run down towards the Rettifilio for the first time. Zoltan Suti, who had a great qualifying session in third position, was under attack from Moritz Lerner, who went all the way around the outside of the Rettifilio to grab third. Further down the order, Gianmarco Fiduci and Adam Pinchez would have an incident, and Gianmarco Fiduci would be fired down the escape road at the Rettifilio. A couple of laps into the race, and Ben Spanky would have a move for the lead. He'd go down the inside at the Rettifilio to get by David Nagy, who didn't really fight the position too hard. On the cutback, Zoltan Suti would try and get by Moritz Lerner, but was unable to do so. Further down the order, last year's race winner here at this venue, Gergo Bowdy, was trying to work his way further up the order, passing Emre Cihan and opening the door for Kirill Antonov and Jack Keithley to work their way past. At the front of the field, David Nagy would then have an attempt for the race lead himself as he would go for the cutback and nearly get by. But unfortunately that would open the door for Moritz Lerner to get his way by, and on the run down towards the De La Rogère chicane, he'd fire it around the outside, and with an excellent move, he'd be up into second position. No podiums this season thus far for Moritz Lerner. Around the outside, Kirill Antonov would get by Ben Zupanek, and following him straight through into the first Lesmo, Jack Keithley would also gain the place. Then on the run down towards the Rettifilio, Jack Keithley would be on the inside and would have to fight his way around the outside of Kirill Antonov, but whilst they were all fighting, the top four was really allowed to run away. Ben Spanky, who was leading that, would make this mistake very, very small, but picked up a track cut and a slow down penalty. He'd do his best to try and hang on, but on the inside of the first Lesmo, he'd still have to give up way too much time, and Moritz Lerner would go all the way around the outside, dragging David Nagy with him. He'd split the Mirror Esports drivers as Zoltan Suti wasn't quite able to get by at the second Lesmo, and that would be his track guts done. Later in the race, very quickly to come back, Ben Spanky would go down the inside of David Nagy and retake second position, just giving enough of a gap to Moritz Lerner, and then would come straight into the pit lane to fulfill his pit lane requirement. The top three would also follow a couple of laps later, which would just give him enough room to pull out from Ben Spanky a little bit. On the run down towards the Rettifilio though, Ben Spanky would try and make it around the outside. He'd overcook the corner though, cut the chicane, and that would give him a mighty slowdown. He'd have to drop the position back to Zoltan Suti, who'd got by David Nagy on the pit stops, and then also David Nagy himself still continuing to give more time up. By the time that David Nagy was allowed by Zoltan Suti, Moritz Lerner had already cleared off by over a second. Later in the race, Ben Spanky would take the third position off of Zoltan Suti and up onto the podium, but it was nothing to stop this man at the front of the field. Moritz Lerner taking his first victory in the CUPRA SimRacing Series in fantastic, controlling fashion.